The next question is from Srinivas, and it's about the Bhagavad Gita. He has a question about the verse 230 from chapter 5, which is being free from lust and anger, their thoughts controlled, they realize the self, and there is eternal peace around them, Brahman. His question is, does this verse point to that controlling lust and anger is the key to control thoughts, which will again lead to Brahman? And why did Krishna limit to only lust and anger?
Well, there's two sides to that question. If you're Brahman, there's no lust or anger. When you're a human, there's lust and anger. So that will be a measure where you are. So that's what one aspect of this is, simply pointing to when you're with the Brahman or when you're not with the Brahman. When you're with the Brahman, there is no passion. There is, and passion is the word. This is the rajas, the one that was shared in chapter 3 about, the impulse that has us take action, even though we know it's the wrong action. So it's the rajas, and the rajas is not yet exhausted, and therefore these passionate experiences, reactions, emotions, wants, needs, desires, resentments, reactivities are coming from the vital. And these vital moments do prevent us from accessing the greater truth of ourselves as the Brahman. And why is that? Because we've unwittingly given consent to these passions, or we've even wittingly gave consent to these passions. That the anger for us gave us a sense of power, or anger in us gave us the ability to push beyond the limitation of our tamas that didn't want to come into life more than it was being asked of. It is the part of us that actually is trying to come out of tamas. So rajas has a role to play. But as we move from rajas to sattva, rajas gets in the way. And at this stage of the Gita, verses chapter 5, a knowledge has come of the truth of what Brahman is. That means an access, some sort of access in the awareness of the Brahmanic condition has come. And it's very satisfying to the being. But the nature still needs to be relinquished. It still has not come, we have not met the roots of these structures of passion that are still shaping us, we have unwittingly been the instrument or channel of. And then it starts this transition between rajas and sattva. There's a lot of self-blame. There's a lot of guilt. There's a lot of, I must be doing it wrong. This self-diminishment comes as we come out of the rajas into the sattva. And that is the process of experiencing that which the rajas was on top of. The rajas was a bypass for the shame. The rajas was how to come into life as a human being where you wouldn't have to feel shame. And if you did get everything you wanted in the world, anger and lust would quiet, right? You can only have so much sex. You can only express anger for so long, and it exhausts itself. And then you would be able to come to the spaciousness of sattva, the Brahman. The Brahman field can be known directly through sattva awareness. So two sides of this, Srinivas, is one, obsessing about the passions that still run you does not help. Two, obsessing about the experience of Brahman does. The more you're able to enter into the Brahmanic condition, the more that will start dissolving the structures of passion. So that is the truth. And this takes time. And I know you're in the midst of your life. And so many of the structures that has allowed the life you have came from this passion. And now you're going into sattva, but you still have the life. And you're still not able to let go of all the attachments and the vestments and the duties and the obligations that have come with that. So you're in the web. You're in the midst of the web of the imperishable tree. And I know that is. And what my wish for you in our relationship is that through devotion, through your relationship with me, you can be in the midst of your life as it is. And in time, all those cords that have bound you will dissolve. The path of devotion is the secret for you, Srinivas. When you feel the devotion, there is no lust or anger. there is no sin. There is no barrier between you and that which is the object of your love. The evidence that devotion indicates is that the divine has come to you. When you're experiencing the devotion or the anguish of not experiencing devotion, it's evidence that divinity is manifesting itself through your devotion already. So we can surrender and just deal with the life as it shows up and not blame yourself or get vested in an outcome of an action or how things should show up, or get unduly vested in your children or in your wives or in your patients, so that you are simply just an instrument, a means for the universe to do what's necessary. You're not there to be the healer for them. You're there to play your role. You're not them to be some kind of godlike instrument for them. You're to be the channel for that principle, which may want them to stay sick or die. It may want them to be healed too, but it's not your business. You just play the part. And that's the essence. That's the essence of the Gita. Taking actions that detach from the outcome allows the sacrifice that is required to detach to be the means by which the Brahman comes into our lives. That's the point of 5th chapter of Gita. Once you get past the 5th chapter, the being takes over the whole thing. When you're in your being, when you're in that connection, you have no passion. You are in simply the meeting of the necessity of what's arising, high or low, good or bad, comfortable or uncomfortable, as it does. So that's my little gift. I don't know, I can't see if Srinivas is on the screen, but when he listens to this, he'll hear my love for him and his ability to have trust in just continuing in what he's doing, because it's perfect. Okay. You could call that an assurance, by the way, right? You can call that assurance because I felt the sanction go to Srinivas years ago. It just leaped. And no matter what he does, it's going to manifest. It's manifesting now, in fact. I mean, he's got probably the longest running Gita study group in the entire domain of New Dharma Kingdom, right? It's already happening. There's nothing more for him to do but what he's doing, fulfilling the obligations of his life and serving in the way that he can. That's all there is, really. The only thing the other part of that is to be patient, which is not Rajasic nature. So that not patient is one that keeps asking questions. You mean I have to keep doing this? You mean this is really what I should be doing? That whole questioning. That's your process. I recognize it. And a lot of people are going through that. So the death of the human ego, it does not go quietly into the good night often.